A brake mechanic opens a car door on a Corvette Z51 that's up on a lift, mid-repair. The calipers are already off. And in that half second, the car doesn't know that. It thinks you're about to drive it. So it runs a self-check on the brake system, and with no calipers to push back against, the pistons overextend. The car throws a code. Top speed 62 miles per hour. Permanently, until a dealer resets it. That's not a rumor. That's a documented quirk of one of the most talked about sports cars in America right now. And it's the kind of thing you will never hear about from a first drive review, because journalists don't own these cars long enough to find out. We went through owner forums, dealer service bulletins, mechanic write-ups, and hundreds of long-term reports on the Corvette Z51. Not the press loan version. The one people actually live with. And what we found splits almost perfectly into two stories. The car everyone talks about, and the car nobody warns you about. Let's start with why people want this thing so badly in the first place. For almost 70 years, the Corvette was a front-engine car. Big V8 up front, long hood, rear-wheel drive. Then General Motors did something it had been quietly trying to do since the 1960s. It moved the engine behind the driver. Mid-engine, the layout every Ferrari and Lamborghini uses. And it did it at a price that undercuts those cars by 6 figures. The Z51 package is what makes this more than a stunt. It adds a stronger final drive ratio, an electronic limited slip differential, a third radiator, bigger brakes, and stickier summer tires. Over 70% of buyers check that box, and once you understand what it does, you'll see why. With Z51, the naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8, sitting directly behind your head, puts down 495 horsepower. 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. Quarter mile in 11.2 at 122 miles an hour. That's quicker than a Porsche 911 Carrera. Quicker than a BMW M4 competition. For less money than either one starts at. So the expectations walking in are enormous. This is supposed to be the performance bargain of the decade. But here's what surprised owners after 6 months. The number they never saw coming wasn't horsepower. It was the maintenance bill. The Z51's transmission is a Tremec dual clutch unit, and it doesn't behave like a normal automatic. It needs an external filter changed at 7,500 miles, then again every 22,500 miles after that. Every 3 years, or 45,000 miles, it wants a full fluid exchange, nearly 12 quarts of specialized synthetic fluid. Owners are reporting dealer bills between $1,800 and $2,200 just for that one service. Nobody mentions that in a 9-minute first drive. That sounds like a footnote. It isn't, because there's a mechanical reason behind it, and it's worth understanding before you buy. Inside that transmission are 2 wet clutches, one handling odd gears, one handling even gears, controlled by more than a dozen tiny solenoids packed into 2 valve bodies. During break-in, microscopic metal debris from normal wear can lodge inside those solenoids. When that happens, you get erratic shifts, hesitation, sometimes a check engine light. The fix is a software-driven hydraulic flush that pushes the debris out into the filter. It's not a defect exactly, it's the price of running an automated manual transmission built for track duty. But it's also why that filter schedule isn't optional, whatever a sales representative might tell you. Now here's the part that really divides owners, the interior. If you order the top 3 LT trim, you get wrapped leather across the entire dashboard. Looks incredible on delivery day, but mechanics and appraisers are seeing a pattern in hot climates. That leather shrinks, bubbles, and starts lifting off the dash within a few years. Thermal cycling breaks down the factory adhesive. Replacing the whole dashboard out of warranty runs $3,000 to $5,000. It's common enough that roughly 6 out of 10 experienced buyers now steer straight past 3LT and land on the middle trim instead. That's not what you'd expect walking into a dealership and seeing that top trim glow under showroom lights. Most reviews stop at how the car drives. But this is where ownership actually begins, the small stuff that shapes whether you love this car at year 3 or you're quietly shopping to sell it. The good news is genuinely good. Owners equipped with the optional magnetic ride dampers describe something unexpected for a car this fast comfort. In tour mode, the ride softens up to something close to a luxury sedan, then firms instantly the moment you want to attack a corner. And because the engine sits midship, there are two separate trunks, a front one for a couple of carry-ons, a deep rear one that swallows two full golf bags or the removable roof panel. 12.5 cubic feet total. That's more usable space than most people assume a car like this could have. There's also a strange little feature: people fall in love with a front lift system that raises the nose over speed bumps automatically, because it remembers up to 1,000 GPS locations where you've used it before. Owners talk about it like it's the smartest thing GM has ever built into a car. So who should actually buy one? If you want serious performance, real daily usability, and you're not chasing dashboard bling, the sweet spot is clear. Skip the base trim, it's missing safety tech most buyers want. Skip the top trim, the leather risk isn't worth it. Land on the middle trim, add the Z51 package, add the magnetic ride option, add the front lift. That combination consistently holds its value best on the used market, and it's the one long-term owners recommend most. As for model years, the very first year, 2020, carries the most early production issues, recall campaigns, early software glitches, stickier solenoids before GM refined the control logic. Anything from the last several model years benefits from real fixes baked in. If you're shopping used, the single most important thing you can ask for isn't the Carfax. It's proof the dual clutch filter services were actually done. Put all of it together, and the picture that emerges isn't, buy it, or, avoid it. It's more specific than that. This is a car that rewards people who did their homework and punishes people who don't. Buy the right trim, budget for the transmission service nobody talks about, and you end up with something that beats cars twice its price on a track, and still gets you to work Monday morning without complaint. Get any of those decisions wrong, and you'll be the next owner posting about a dashboard held together with tape, wondering where the extra $4,000 went.